Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to the culcom Daily Questions. We're going to look at one of the topics that's discussed. What's our topic today, Dexter?
We're going to be talking about marriage and birth.
Okay, two solo men over here. So I'm sure we got a lot to say.
Yeah, we're going to have very well-informed opinions about birth, I'm sure.
Good. So number one, how do you feel about the idea of starting a family and having children?
I suppose it's a hot topic in Korea, definitely. And I think for me personally, starting a family and having children is eventually where I see myself in the future. I think it's important, and can just through seeing my parents do it, and I hope they've done a good job. I'd like to become a father one day.
Right.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm in my 40s. I think usually it's like the 30s. That's the time you start a family. But I think recently now there's even the second round when there's the fathers in their 50s.
Yes.
So I think maybe that. I guess I missed my first chance, but I'm looking forward to being 50 and possibly starting a family and having kids.
Yeah, I suppose that's quite a modern thing, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. Can you read the second one?
Yeah. What are your ideal characteristics for a potential spouse?
Ooh, okay. So what do you look for in Mrs. Right?
I suppose hardworking as well. I think I would want a spouse who is independent of me in a way.
Yeah.
We both live separate, happy lives that aren't too reliant on each other, but we come together as a team.
Right.
Really, I think that's probably the most important characteristic that I see.
Yeah. For me, a characteristic that obviously I want them to be attractive. That's a characteristic, but then everyone's idea of beauty is different. There's no standard real idea of beauty. But character, I find actually intelligence attractive too. So the word is sapient sexual and all that stuff. So I would so if I'm going to marry someone, they have to be smart, they have to be clever, and especially if I'm marrying them and I want to have kids, they have to be smart enough so they can help the kids, and I to also teach the kids too. I don't want an idiot.
No, I think having two intelligent parents who are able to raise some intelligent children.
Yeah.
Always what you're looking for, really.
Yeah. My sister, she really focus, she's a teacher herself, but she focuses on the kids' education a lot. So now my niece reads 3 grades higher than, so she's now 9 years old. She reads at a 5th grade or level. She's reading the Harry Potters.
I think that would also be an important characteristic. Someone who's passionate about children and passionate about allowing people to achieve their full potential, really, and not letting
the development. And all that stuff.
Who see that as an important characteristic.
Great. Number 3, what do you think is essential for a successful and happy marriage?
I think on the most simple levels, maybe the trust between the couple. Communication.
I was going to say that, communication.
I think is always important.
Right.
I think so often in relationships and romantic and social relationships, it's so often just people not communicating properly with each other. So, or letting feelings build up without putting them into words. Yeah,
respect and communication are the two things. You can't have one partner be control the dominant member. It has to be, everything has to be equal in communication.
If there's any sort of power dynamics really going on, that can lead to an unhappy and if an unhappy and unsuccessful, I think go hand in hand.
Both people can have different ideas and different thoughts, but the communications basically, you have to talk to each other and try to I know some people that they say they have a good marriage, but then one of them people is more dominant than the other one in the communication.
Yeah.
So you have like the dominant and the submissive in that.
Yeah.
And so like, well, we don't ever have an argument. It's like, because
it's always about agreeing with you.
Yeah, it's
rather
always because one of you is just always it just agrees. And
Yeah. What do you think makes a successful marriage? I can understand happy, but successful is a bit harder.
I mean,
Raising children.
Successful, like basically, apart, like you're successful, but then together,
because successful isn't necessarily
you're able to achieve much more.
Yeah, successful isn't you've both made lots of money.
Yeah.
It's not. It can look very different for different people, but
different. So I would say, a successful marriage is, with the communication, like a happy household, like no problems, everyone's healthy.
Yes.
There's no the kids are, clean and and behave properly.
Okay. Should I read number?
Yeah, please.
4?
Yeah.
What do you think is the most difficult problem in married life?
I think. Well, I would say, the most difficult, like a lot of people, like a lot of marriages, like maybe like the work-life balance schedule.
Yeah, I could see that definitely being.
And then having those match with your partner.
Yeah, that being the biggest problem, really.
Mm-hmm. It's like when you think about failed marriages, like. It's one person that works too much and ignores their significant other, or doesn't work enough.
Yeah.
And doesn't support their significant other.
And I suppose that comes back to creating those power imbalances.
Yeah. What do you think the most difficult problem is with the marriage life?
I think always the introduction of children into creating a family always seems to arise problems, and I suppose that can only be worked through communication with each other.
Another problem I think is also people that get married too soon, too early in the relationship.
Yes. How long do you think? Is there a time? Or
I would say for one thing, you should know the person a full year. You should go through all 4 seasons with them. Yes. You do that before you actually decide to get married.
Yeah, I think you really do. I don't want to say there can't be any more surprises after marriage, because I think people always can surprise you, but you should really feel like there's not many people in the world that you know more. And I think rushing into things could possibly spell those unsuccessful and unhappy.
Well, my brother, he was with now my sister-in-law for 18 years before they got married. They were high school romance. They went all through their 20s and halfway through their 30s, not even married. And then because other things like, we got to buy a house. Then they got pregnant. So there's always the wedding, the official ceremony was always put on the back burner. And then once the kids were old enough, they just eloped and went to Jamaica and did that. Yeah. But all his friends, they got married very quickly and then a couple years later they got divorced. Yeah. And all my brother's friends are like, you guys did the relationship properly. You never got married. You never made it complicated.
Do you think, so that sort of leads into question 5 about the perception of marriage. How has the perception of marriage changed in society, and why? And sort of what you're saying is that they didn't feel maybe as rushed into getting married, but there are other people that do still feel that rush, and it changes. Yeah, I think
now more and more people are getting married, get married, get divorced. But I think and some people that are in a good relationship, but they don't want to get married because possibly their parents got divorced and they don't want to do that.
We are the more recent generations are probably could be more likely from parents that are divorced themselves, and I suppose the idea of staying in an unhappy marriage as well is changing. So marriage isn't as much this sort of bonds that keeps you together no matter what. So it means it has its positives and negatives, is that maybe people are take it lightly and rush into it and end up getting divorced, which causes its own problems. But it also means that in those marriages that should be ending, it means that you're not necessarily bound, and that is sort of tied to how marriage is seen in society.
That's a good point. Number 6, what are you personal expectations regarding birth and parenting?
Personal expectations, I suppose I can only really go off what I've seen from my own parents, and parenting, knowing what I was like as a child, parenting is definitely tough. And what I can see, I think I'd like to think I would be a good father. I'd like to think so. I'm not sure how tied to the birth I will be in terms of my own personal expectations. But
I believe there's no solid method of parenting. One family's way of parenting is different than another one's, and both those are still correct.
Yes.
Birth, I think, I don't know, I guess if you're going to have kids, the right thing to do is maybe 2.
Yeah, 2.
I say 2. For me, 2 is the ideal number of children to have.
I'm one of 2, so it's what I know, really.
Yeah.
I think having a brother and a sister as well.
I have an older brother, and then I was planned birth, so my parents wanted to have a second child, but then my sister was an accident, so I grew up like the middle child.
Yeah.
But 2 is a good number of kids to have. Can you read number 7?
Number 7.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the increasing trend of couples choosing not to have children? And we can see that a lot in modern Korea, really.
Yeah. I mean, that's your choice if you don't want to have children. In Korea, it's very public that Korea has the lowest child rate of birth. But if you're not going to have children, then my pet peeve is don't then get a dog and push it around in a stroller. Okay.
Yeah. I could replacing it with a dog.
Yeah.
I think is maybe not the way to use that energy.
Yeah.
But I think, and the increasing trend of couples choosing not to have children.
Yeah.
I think it is really hard to raise children. As it costs so much money, I think is the main problem.
It's a lot
really,
of the government is stepping in and trying to offer money.
Yeah, well, that's sort of maybe before that would have happened, I would have said it's money. People just need the money, but it does seem to be that there's also cultural changes that even if they feel that they have the money, they just don't want to, rather than that they can't.
Yeah.
And that's a different question, really.
True. But I think everyone has their own opinion, the right to their own opinion of having kids or not.
Yeah.
But
I think.
But number 8, how can society better support people to be parents?
I think maybe Korea having fewer steps and fewer hills, pushing up those buggies maybe might be helpful.
Yeah.
I think financially.
The financial support I think is important.
Yeah.
But also also maybe publicly announce to also lower Korea the expectations of the kids. Don't put Korea kids too much. The kids here are just they're pressured so much on the education.
Yeah.
Let the kids be the kids and have fun.
Yeah. I think that's how do you think that would change though? How could society maybe just trying to lower
just make announcements let kids tell the parents give the kids a break. Your childhood is supposed to be the fun time of your life, and they have to go to math academy, to English academy, back to math academy.
How do you feel about sort of a push to let kids be kids, really? In that sort of I saw a video recently about a mother taking her child on an airplane, and the sort of experience of that is that there seems to be a big split between people thought oh, it's not appropriate, it sort of ruins it for everyone else. But also, maybe we should just become more accommodating to the reality.
Oh, well, that's like, how old was the child?
Sort of maybe a toddler, 2 years old, maybe.
Well, I don't think that kid's making memories. So.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But yeah, I think. But one thing about being a parent is like, once you're a parent, you should put your kids over yourself. Your kids' interests over your personal interests.
I think that's and that maybe is a problem with the education, is that you're putting this pressure on them because you expect so much from yourself, whereas maybe giving the kid a bit of freedom to be who they turn out to be.
Yeah. We got to rush. Can you read number 9?
What do you think about perceptions of traditional gender roles in regards to parenting? Would you change them? If yes, how?
Okay. Oh well, this
could be a little bit controversial.
This is a very controversial thing. I believe traditional gender roles are important, but also tomboys and if a boy wants to learn dancing, that's fine, and if a girl wants to play baseball, that's fine too.
Yeah, I think letting things take their course without putting too much pressure. I don't think there's need for any extremes on both ends of the spectrum. But for example, with regards to parenting, my dad was always the cook in the house, just because my mum doesn't know how. But
my mom was the breadwinner in the house too.
Yeah, so I suppose it's just not putting too much pressure on rigidly fitting into those prescribed roles.
Yeah,
really.
So I don't want to change it. So the second part, would you change them? No.
Yeah, they're probably not going to change through.
There's going to be exceptions.
Yeah, they're not. It's not going to change through conscious efforts. Really, things change naturally.
Yeah. And our final question: in your opinion, what are the most important values and lessons parents should instill in their children?
I think to being a hardworking and independent person, really, being a role model, and acting as you would like them to act, really.
Manners are very important. So just that to be kind to people, because maybe someone's in a different situation than you, so you should be respectful and kind to strangers.
Yes, I think being the role model is really the most important thing.
Yeah, so be a role model, and so that maybe they'll follow in your footsteps, and be a role model to someone else.
I think absolutely.
Yeah. Anyways, that concludes the topic of marriage and birth. Thanks for tuning in. If you have questions about culcom, you can contact them on their Instagram. Bye for now.